When we think about Florida, what do you think of? You think of Disney, you think of oranges. Okay, oranges are an iconic part of our state and our state's economy, and the fruit that you think of when you think of the Sunshine State. But today, the growth of Florida oranges going forward is highly imperiled because of a disease called citrus greening that some people say could wipe out the entire industry in the next few years. Well, citrus greening is the name given to a spectrum of diseases that are associated with the infection from a certain bacterium. It gets into the vasculature of the tree and causes a variety of symptoms from yellow leaves to small and green fruits. So it's spread by something called the Asian citrus psyllid, which is a small insect that feeds on the sap in the leaves, and then when it goes to the next tree and bites in, it spreads the bacterium. So it is insect vectored. So if you can control the psyllid, you can control the spread of the disease. Well, the potential costs of this are really hard to imagine. Right now there are some growers and some people in the industry who will say maybe there's a year, 2 years, maybe 3 more seasons left before there's no more citrus in Florida. Here the major problem is that we see a massive decline in the industry that citrus supports. Lost something like $10 billion and 2,800 jobs since 2005. Yeah, it's hard to say what effects quarantine has these days because there isn't much quarantine on the disease. The disease currently affects about 80% of the trees in the state, and right now you just have to be very careful about moving around trees to make sure that you're not further pushing the disease northward.
The state of Florida, they have different people that come around to check for citrus greening, and when they find the greening, they quarantine my product. It makes it non-sellable for quite some time, for several weeks at a time, and the quarantine trees can't be removed from the property. They can't be sold. You can't discard them. You can't discount them. You must keep them on the property because the inspectors will be back, and it protects the community and from citrus greening because it's a bad thing. You don't want it. You have to explain to the customer that they cannot have this tree. It's not for sale, and why. So it affects the citrus business all around for fertilizer, soil sprays. The potential sales that you would have gotten from the tree, you're not getting it. When you buy the tree and it's determined there's citrus greening, you put another tree in that has it, and you're going to lose all your trees. So it's not a real bad thing, but it is very inconvenient.
Well, the general planting public, I think the best thing to do is if you have trees in your lawn or inside your home, the best thing to do is to use a systemic insecticide, something like imidacloprid in all of its forms, something that would take your tree, and if the insect that bites into it will go die. This way, if everybody did this, we could stop the spread northward. There's not really any commercial groves any farther north than Gainesville at all, but it at least would contain the disease here in our part of the state.
Right.
I'm holding a little more optimistic projection because I see what's happening at the University of Florida and in other research institutions. Well, University of Florida has many different lines of research going into this problem. From people who are studying the genetics of the trees, which may be tolerant, so they get the infection but they live through it and they manage to grow through it. Other researchers working on ways to selectively prune and maybe manage trees so that they continue to grow through the infection. I think there will be a solution. Exactly what Citrus 2.0 will be might look very different, but I'm confident that there will be a solution to the problem.